Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Val-Marie and in today's video I want to take you with me to this huge secondhand clothing market I recently went to. I got some pretty good finds. This is another episode of me slowly building my spring and summer wardrobe. I shared a couple videos already about this and I will make sure to leave them linked below so you can check them out. The previous one being my capsule wardrobe for Japan. If you haven't checked it out, you should absolutely watch it. You will recognize the stop from the video actually. So I got some pretty good finds. I will try them on and show you what they look like, but they need adjustments. I will say the two big downsides of this particular secondhand clothing market was that it was very poorly lit. It was very dim lighting. It was indoors and so kind of hard to really see the pieces properly and to get an idea of the accurate colors. And the second issue was that there was no fitting room. And because there was no fitting room, obviously some of the pieces that I chose to buy need adjustments, and that's totally okay because I know how to sew. And my goal today is to share with you how I was able to transform these pieces that I bought in order for them to fit me extremely well and to look really nice and just work better for what I'm looking for and what I need in my summer wardrobe. So this is what we're going to be working on today. How to transform a jumpsuit into a dress, how to make another jumpsuit larger because it's way too tight for me at the moment, and how to tweak a dress so that the fit will be impeccable. I'm also going to share the rest of my finds today with you, of course, because some of the items did not need any adjustment, which is always nice. So if you love intentional shopping or just want to know more about slow fashion and how to build a wardrobe sustainably, you should definitely stick around. I hope you're going to have a great time, learn a thing or two, and maybe feel inspired to tackle your own wardrobe. Let's start with this dress. It's actually not a dress, it's a jumpsuit. The fabric is very comfortable, really like this color, and the length is, I would say, mid-calf. I like this length, it's very feminine. I thought that the waist was going to be, well, at the waistline, but really this seam here on my body works right under my bust. I think is where it sits just nicely and just feels really comfortable. Imagine with a pregnancy how this would also look so great once I transform it into a dress, because then you get this seam and then you can have room for the bump. So I'm not pregnant, but I was just thinking that the fit would also work for pregnancy. The waist is elasticated, which makes for a very comfortable dress. It came with a belt. The belt is this off-white and brown color, and it's in very good condition. I think it pairs well with the blue, and I could also, of course, change the belt. And the hardware here is silver, which goes really well with this blue color. So first of all, it's a bit tight in the crotch area. And second of all, I feel like the flow of the dress is kind of like, it would look nicer if it was just a dress. And I will show you how to alter this. It's a very simple alteration. Even if you're just a beginner, you can absolutely do this transformation. If you have a similar item, a large jumpsuit that you can transform. This is going to work here because there's a lot of fabric to play with. And so you will end up with 4 seams, the 2 side seams that you're not going to touch, and the center seam here that will become the front seam and the back seam. So the front center seam and the back center seam. I think I'm going to redo this pleat here, this front pleat. The fact that it's not sitting right is bothering me. There are no darts, which would make it look better because there's a little bit of excess fabric here. Let's see if I can show you on this side better. But if I create a little dart here, that will just sit just better on my body, and I will show you how to create the darts. Very, very simple alteration. So the 3 alterations I'm going to do here are really simple. And the third alteration is going to be redoing the hem because it is pretty uneven. In order to transform this jumpsuit into a dress, I need to unpick the seams for the legs, so the inside seam for the legs. Once I unpicked, I'll be able to reassemble the skirt pieces together to create a skirt. And the best tool by far is going to be this little handy dandy tool that is a seam ripper. If I unpick the legs, the front is going to be attached to the front, left and right, and the back is going to be attached to the back, left and right, instead of the front left, back left, and front right, back right. So yes, let's go, because you don't want to unpick all of it and then realize that you wanted it attached. Oh, so this seam is done with a serger, but on the back of the seam for the serger, you should see 2 parallel stitches that are the left needle, right needle on the serger. And if I just remove these 2 threads, the loops just all come off really easily. So that's a pretty quick unpick. I actually don't need to unpick the seam from the waistband to the crotch area. So this is the front seam that was going from the belly button to the crotch area basically, and this is the back of the now dress. This seam is curved a little bit, so I just want to go straight down, and that will be my front seam from the belly button to the hem of the dress. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. So before I can pin the seam, I'm just going to iron the sides flat. There is quite a discrepancy between the 2 panels that I want to assemble together. That shouldn't be the case. It should be the same, but the fabric is so stretchy that I feel like I can move it around, and perhaps here I am going to cancel this curve here, so creating a little fold matching the 2 panels, I think I can make it work. So here, this fold is going to disappear completely. I am going to sew here under the curve. The other side is going to be less tricky because it is the same length between the 2 panels. I only have 3 colors for my serger thread. I've got white, black, and gray. For this dress, I feel like gray is going to be the best option. I'll just now mark the straight line and then serge along the line. I think it's time to change my blade. Like butter. So for the edge, I first went in this direction, then you want to stop the needle really right at the edge, turn the fabric around, and then serge on the other side. That way you don't have any threads hanging here. I did stitch a little bit too much on the edge, but that's fine. I need to iron the edge, and I pinned it the way it should be ironed. Now these are glass head pins, so I can iron on top of them, which is convenient, but you got to be careful. If you don't have these pins and you iron a pin with a plastic head, it will melt on your fabric, and you really don't want that. I put the dress on and pinned my two darts, or basically the excess fabric I had in this area. I just want to make sure that it's the same on both sides. I think I have to take in, I guess that's 3/4 times 2, almost 2 inches. Let's take in 1.5 inches. So I'm literally just gonna pin and sew. I might do this by hand because there's a lot of layers and it'll just be quicker, I feel. And then the hem. Well, we have a pretty severe case of uneven hem. I'm just going to measure the shortest point. The shorter is 14.5, and mark the hem around. It is really, really uneven. I did a lot of testing on my serger to make sure that my rolled hem was going to look nice. Using what I cut off, I definitely did multiple tries, and now I am confident it's going to look good. So I'm going to go ahead and sew. Initially, the way the hem was is a rolled hem already. My thread is a slightly different color, but it's not going to bother me too much. It's a gray that looks very close to the blue. And because it's the hem, because it's a midi length below my knees, no one is going to notice that there is a little discrepancy. So I'm just going to make sure I'm starting at the back of my dress and that the outside is facing up. So the nice side of my stitches is going to show. So this is the before, and this is the after. It is a dress. I'm so glad, very happy with the result. I am gonna wear this dress all summer long. It's a great fit, it's very comfortable. The length is really nice. Now the hem is even. The little dart or pleat here helps with the fit. The ironing of the neckline just makes it super nice and crisp. The new hem looks really good, so I can dress it up or down depending on what shoes and accessories, belt, or other things I'm gonna wear it with. I feel like it could really work for a wedding or just a random day. It's really nice. Love, love, love the look of this belt. I feel like a Greek goddess, if I do say so myself. No, but seriously, I feel like this gold and blue and the shape of the garment and the little round golden detail in the belt is so elegant. I mean, for a wedding, it will work so nicely paired with some escarpins, what is the name of, some stilettos, golden stilettos. That would look so nice. I just tried this on. I could not try on clothes at the market. Unfortunately, this is too small, and it's really too bad because I really, really liked the print on this. I feel like it can be so nice, but really it's so tight in the crotch area. I'm not comfortable. I'm considering getting some fabric from, I don't know, maybe from the belt, and I would wear a different belt with this, like a black belt for contrast, since there's some black in the pattern and the flowers. Damn, I really like the colors of this and the print. The fabric actually worn looks better than it looked on a hanger. On a hanger it really looked like poor quality. It was very cheap, by the way. This was only $4. I am wearing the wrong underwear because you can see it through. It's a bit of a see-through fabric. It's thin and white. So, of course, you want to wear it with the right pair of underwear that you can't see underneath, and that will make a huge change. There is no seam allowance on this piece. It's too cheap to have any seam allowance. This right now goes to ankle length. So I'm just gonna have to think about a way to get some fabric either from the hem or the belt or the pockets, although I think I would want to keep the pockets because this is a super comfortable position. Not to really store anything because they are small pockets, but more like to just keep my hands in my pockets. I really like the look of this. So the only issue is the size. There's one alteration here, and that'll be make more room in the crotch area. So for this one, I have decided I am going to unpick the shoulder seams on both sides because the waist was just not sitting right. The waist was too high. So I am going to unpick the shoulders. That will be the easiest fix. Just undo these, add fabric on both sides. After trying it on, making sure it sits properly, I've got enough room, the waist sitting right, and I'm going to use the fabric from the belt probably. I might just cut because the way the shoulder seam is finished, there's no unpicking. I have to cut anyways. Or I can try to undo this and only cut this piece. Let's try that to try and preserve as much fabric as possible. So same technique as for the blue, cutting the 2 threads from the needles. And that's it. The whole thing comes off. Cut straight. Perfect. Et voila. Voilà. I unpicked both shoulder seams, and I am just using now my belt to see how much fabric I would need to add on the shoulder pieces. On the left side, I pinned on the inside, and on the right side, I pinned on the outside just to get a good average of the amount of fabric I would need. It's now comfortable, it sits nicely, it's the right height for the waist, but I really don't like the way it looks right now. And I was thinking if I use a belt, a large black belt, I've got 2 black belts I could use. By the way, someone left a comment on one of my previous videos about how I could make a video on styling belts. I think it's a great idea. So thank you, whomever left this comment, and I'm gonna make sure to make a video out of it soon. Oh, you've got excess fabric here, but that is just, I just tucked the belt under. You see, I like this so much better. I think it just works really nicely. A little gather effect here is going to look more feminine, more open. Oh, this is really nice too. I think I prefer this one even more. 5 inches on this side, and this one has an extra 5 inches. Okay, so it's very simple. It's going to be 5 inches added, and for the width, I can either gather or pleat. That would be really nice too. These are the 2 ends of my belt, and I want to use this portion because it has more motifs. So I'm gonna cut this seam allowance on each side. That's 5.5, so 11 total. And that way I can keep the rest of my belt, and maybe I can use it as a hair accessory or just as a belt. I will not have enough length to tie a bow, but I will have enough length to just do a little knot. So obviously I'm going to sew this close in order to reuse this belt. I have decided to do pleats. I'm going to baste this because it's really front and center on the garment. It's going to be here on my shoulders. So I really want it to look neat. I want the edges to be really aligned for it to really look intentional and purposeful. So where the straps meet in the front is a really important portion. So I am going to first baste this so it lays really nicely. And then when I'm happy with the way it looks, I'll just serge the edge. Very nice. You see how the edges meet? That's really the most important portion. So I'm going to do the same on the other side and then perhaps stitch with my sewing machine first and then finish the edge nicely with the serger. So I'm really taking my time here, doing something really neat because of where it's located on the garment. For the back, I'm first gonna do one row of stitches with large stitches to gather this portion. I've decided I don't want a pleat in the back, I just want a little gather effect. So that's what I'm going to do. The thread got caught when I was stitching. That's okay. It's not going to be visible. I also noticed that the stitching was starting to come undone in the armpit area, so I'm just going to reinforce these with the serger. Just go in and make sure that it's nice and sturdy on both sides. So to do one row of gathering stitches, let's do the longer stitch and no back tack, just sewing from one side to the other, leaving some extra in order to gather the fabric nicely. Align the strap and make sure it's not twisted. I'm going to stitch this together, same on the other side, and then just use the serger to finish it off. Well, I'm very glad I basted it because, to be honest, this was the way to go for both the front with the pleat and the back with the gathering. This looks really clean and aligned. I am now going to sew it with the sewing machine, and then I'll just be able to serge it. Might have taken me like 2 minutes per side, and these 2 minutes are so worth it to have such a clean, nice result on an important area on the garment. Great result. Really nice. So this is the before. And this is the after. I love this outfit. I'm so happy with the result here. This is just too good to be true. Honestly, it is very comfortable now. Maybe it doesn't look like much on camera, but I can tell you it makes a world of a difference because of the fit. It's perfectly my size now. I love how I could use the rest of the belt to tie it around my head, have a matching outfit. I find it so elegant. It's just adorable. I can also add a little snap here, just if I want to be a little more covered. A little close up on the shoulders here. Et voila! I will also show you with the belt. So this is with the belt on. It still works, you know, it's a little more simple without a matching hair accessory, but I really like it too. It's slightly more casual and works really nicely. Man, this fits so perfectly now. It's awesome. I'm very happy. This one, I'm sure, is not everyone's cup of tea, but that's the beauty of fashion, right? It's very subjective and everybody has their own style. I happen to really love the colors on this dress, and pretty much all of the colors suit my skin tone. Very light blue, some fuchsia, some purple. You've got a bunch of cute little flowers. It's very, very feminine, very bright, and I think it's gonna work really well for spring. Now, there are a few things that I think need to be adjusted. First of all, the elastic is twisted inside of its case, which is aggravating me. So I'm just gonna make sure that the elastic sits flat on my shoulder. Perhaps I can do like a little stitch to hold it in place so it doesn't move around and turn. I think with a belt this will look much nicer, styled with a belt, perhaps a white belt, or why not the other belt that I got from the previous dress. Any white or off-white or cream accessory I think would look nice with this. It also definitely need a good iron. It has a lot of wrinkles, so it doesn't sit right. Like one sleeve looks shorter than the other one just because it's crunched up. The fact that you can see my straps here is bothering me. I'd rather have a strapless bra for this one because I feel like the off-the-shoulder look is so feminine and can be very elegant, and I like to show off my shoulders. Sometimes it just looks good on me. There's not too much fabric in the skirt portion, which I prefer when it's like more gathered and gives more volume in the back. It does not have pockets. I think it would still work on a very hot day. It's a very light and airy dress, and it's not too long. It's right below my knees. The more I look at it, the more I like it, honestly. It is like just a simple everyday dress. So I just untwisted the elastic around the neckline, and I'm just gonna go in, stitch in the ditch. So basically just sew a few stitches on each seam I've got around my neckline. I've got here and here, and that way the elastic is not gonna twist on me anymore. For this one, I'm starting to wonder if this was worth my while. After trying it on, I noticed that the sleeves are not the same size. So I now have to, and they're not even the same width. Wow, it's not just the length. The sleeves are just not the same shape. So as you can see, the one under is longer and the one on top is wider. What a mess. I mean, sure, we're not aiming for perfection, but I also want it to not look wonky, and it really looked wonky when I tried this on, so let's try that. Adjusting a little bit, you know. This one I'm gonna shorten. I'm just gonna redo the hem, and this one I'm gonna take in at the inner seam. So this is the before, and this is the after. Such a nice result for this one too. I almost gave up because of the sleeves that were not the same size. That really bothered me because it just showed how fast fashion can be poor quality. I mean, they don't even have time or budget to review the items. There's no quality check most of the time, right? So literally one sleeve was bigger than the other, which is not that uncommon in fast fashion. But you know what? I did not give up, and I just made sure that the sleeves were gonna be even, and it's a very nice result. It works really nicely with the belt from the other dress. It's like it was meant to be, honestly. Such a nice result here. So again, it's not that much of a change, but the fact that the elastic is not going to twist on me, the fact that it's ironed and it just doesn't look wonky anymore makes actually a huge difference in the way I feel wearing the garment. And that is the most important thing at the end of the day. If there's something bothering you about an item, you should work on it, you should perfect it, make it better if you want to keep it, because you deserve to feel good in your items. And I just feel great in this dress now. It was worth it. And I can wear it like so, move it down and, you know, have a very nice open neckline. It's really lovely. So paired with a strapless bra, it works really nicely. So these are the shoes that I found. First of all, they are the right size. Second of all, they are comfortable, which sometimes, even though it's the right size, it's not necessarily comfortable. And if a shoe isn't comfortable, then there's literally 0 point to me to get the pair. This pair of flats is made in Portugal. It's good quality. It is leather. So the soles are leather, the inside is leather, and the outside is a mix of leather and synthetic. I like the color of them. It's gonna be really elegant. It's gonna work with a bunch of different outfits. It is sort of see-through. The inside is literally pristine, not a single mark inside. And the person who bought them never actually removed the plastic of this shoe. So it was very slippery when I tried them on too, and I realized it's because they didn't even bother removing the plastic. So I can tell you these were not worn, or barely, or at least not worn outside. This one is tight. I really like the detail of the black neckline. The contrast is really beautiful. And the back also super feminine. A black belt, black shoes, I think will make this work. It's a very nice shade of like taupey color. It's in between gray and beige really. And the length is above my knees, which is a little shorter than I've been doing, but it would work, I think, on a hot day. And this was $6. This is just a super simple tank top from Uniqlo, secondhand, also $6. I really like the color. It works really well with my skin tone. Any mauve, purple, that kind of color, lilac is gonna work. So that's a win. Literally brand new, never worn. And my necklace, which was my grandmother's, actually works really well. And this is tucked in, and it's a size small, and the fabric is really comfortable. I think I still have one or two of these very tops in my wardrobe. I bought a black one, a white one, and a beige one, and so it's interesting that I'm getting a fourth one. I know that they're very comfortable and they really work for layering or just in the summertime. Look how good it looks with this necklace. It was meant to be. Again with the sun. This is the last item. It's a pair of pants that I really liked the pattern of. Just a simple stripe with white and blue. The blue is sort of faded, like almost gray. So in that sense, I really liked the color combination and the pattern. I thought it was very elegant. Now the leg is tighter than I thought it was going to be. It's an elasticated waist, which means it's going to be comfortable. I think if I style this properly, it might be really nice. It's ankle length or even 3/4 length, I would say. I like that it has some pleats here. It has pockets. It's a size M. So this was the last item. I really hope that you loved this video. I had so much fun working on these items. I am so beyond happy with my wardrobe. I think I'm pretty much done for the summer. I don't think of any item that I would need that I don't have. Well, actually, we'll see about that. And this most likely concludes my slowly building my spring and summer wardrobe. I hope you had a great time watching. Please make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos. I post content about sewing, DIY, design, home decor, intentional living, and if you're into that kind of content, you should stick around. I would love to have you here. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!